Lesson 2, Dilation Mini Golf. Dilations with no grid. In this lesson, you'll identify the center and scale factor used in a dilation. You'll also apply dilations to figures using a ruler. All right, let's get started on page 67 in your notebook. And the learning goals there's two of them. We want to identify the center and scale factor of a dilation. Identify the center and scale factor of a dilation. And also, we want to apply a dilation to a figure using a ruler. Apply a dilation to a figure using a ruler. So the most important part about today's lesson was scale factor. Let's make sure we understand what a scale factor is. And it's the number multiplied to all the lengths in the pre-image. Let's get that started. The number multiplied to all the lengths in the pre-image to find all the lengths in the image. So let's say I had a triangle that had side lengths of 3, 4, and 5, and that was my pre-image. And I had a scale factor of 2. To find the lengths of the sides in the image, get a different color, I would need to multiply each of these side lengths by that scale factor. So instead of 3, 4, and 5 for side lengths, I would have 3 times 2 for this corresponding side, 4 times 2 for this corresponding side, and 5 times 2 for this corresponding side. So my side lengths would be twice as big as the originals. Instead of 3, I have 6. Instead of 4, I have 8. Instead of 5, I have 10 in the image. And every side in the figure must be multiplied by the same number to make a scaled copy. Every side must be multiplied by the same number. To make a scaled copy. That's why it's called a scale factor. And scaled copies are similar figures. So if this is an example of a scale factor, an example of not a scale factor would be, let's take that same, let's use that blue one. Let's take that same 3, 4, 5 triangle. Don't know if this is actually to scale, but 3, 4, 5 triangle in the pre-image. And if I had something that was 6, 8, and 12, well, I didn't multiply all 3 of these side lengths by 2. 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 2 is 8, but 5 times 2 is definitely not 12. So that would not be in an example because of this right here. Wah, wah. All right, let's get to what was more similar to what you were doing today in the activity on Desmos, where you were playing golf, dilation golf. So let's take a figure like this. And in both examples, A is going to be our center of dilation. That's going to be our fixed point. And we're going to dilate point B. Right. So here is our pre-image length from A to B. And A is going to stay fixed, and B is going to either shoot out or pull in a little bit. So if A is the center of dilation, how can we find which of these 2 points is the dilation of B if there's a scale factor of 2? Well, if there's a scale factor of 2, it has to be longer than my original because it has to be twice as far from A. So the distance from A to B is going to double. From A to wherever B is dilated to. And the reason is because this is a number greater than 1. All right. So let's say that this was, 1 inch. That means that twice as far would be 2 inches. So that's where B would land if we dilated it with a scale factor of 2. We'd start measuring from A to B and then double that to measure from A to wherever B would be dilated to. And we'll do one more. If there's a scale factor of 1/3, that means that our new distance is going to be smaller than our original AB. Green here. So if I have a number that's smaller than 1, or between 0 and 1, as my scale factor, I'm going to be shortening up the pre-image. So I started with AB at this blue length, but if I multiply that by a scale factor of 1/3, my new length is going to be 1/3 the distance from point A, from that center of dilation. And I'm going to go ahead and draw what that scale factor of 1/3 would be. Instead of the distance from A to B, we now have this distance that's 1/3 the length from that fixed point. I feel like I need to clarify that this is my center of dilation. It doesn't move. I'm always measuring from that center of dilation. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. It's going to get a little wordy down here, but how do you use a ruler to apply a dilation? Well, first of all, we're going to draw a line connecting the center of dilation and a point on the pre-image. Draw a line connecting the center of dilation to a point on the pre-image. Now for us, that was the distance between this center of dilation, and we were calling point B our pre-image length. So let's say that looks like about 2 centimeters. Actually, I just did step 2, measure that distance. And then once I measure that distance, I'm going to multiply that measurement by the scale factor. So if I found that this was about 2 centimeters and I wanted to perform a dilation with a scale factor of 2, I would just multiply that length by this scale factor. which would get me to 4. But I have to make sure that I'm applying that new distance correctly. I'm going to measure from the center of dilation now. To the corresponding point on the image. So the point I'm making here is when you multiply that by the scale factor, I have 4, but I'm not measuring 4 more units from B. I'm going back to the center of dilation and measuring 4 from there to get the dilated figure, the dilated point. So you're always measuring back from that center of dilation. All right, so there is scale factor and how we can apply it to make a dilation using a ruler. Good luck in that homework tonight as you apply scale factors.